Crivit Hiking Backpack from Lidl. It only costs £10. So is it a brilliant bargain or is it too cheap to be good? That's what we're going to find out today. So I know you guys haven't seen this backpack in a video yet, but this is my 5th walk with this backpack. I've done 3 walks just after work, just going out in the evening, walking around town, going through some like fields and stuff like that, but nothing really super exciting. And they've all been kind of 3, 4, 4.5 mile walks. I wanted to do a few walks with this backpack before I release this review video, just because I think it's always a bit disingenuous when you see people do a review and they're only just unboxing the product. You think you know as much about it as I do. Why are you telling me about it? So the Crivit backpack from Lidl, I bought the 20-litre version, so it's more of a day pack really than a multi-day pack certainly. You're not going to get camping gear or anything in this. It's just designed really for spending a day out hiking in the mountains, on the moors like I am tonight. That's why I've decided to do it here with this gorgeous view in the background. Now tonight, even though I'm only out for about an hour's hike, maybe an hour and a half by the time I finish filming, I've still packed this bag with everything I'd usually take on a standard day hike. And as you can see, it's not quite filled to bursting. There's a little bit of room left in there. You've got a little bit of space in the top if I did want to pack a little bit more in. But it's pretty full, so you wouldn't get too much more in there. Yeah, certainly for a day hike, this is plenty big enough. I think 20 litres will do you fine. My normal day hiking pack is a low alpine, and that's 24 litres. So it's only a little bit smaller than that, and that's always done me fine. I've had that for over a year now, and it's been good as gold. Now, in terms of features, this backpack's got a few features that you maybe wouldn't expect on a cheap backpack. It's got the mesh kind of stretchy drink holders on the side, and I really like these, not just because they're really handy for shoving your drink into when you're walking, but on the other side I keep my tripod, and you can't see it now obviously because I'm filming with it, but when I'm walking I'll stick my tripod in here, and these compression straps that it's got on the side, they're really good because they keep the tripod in place, and if I don't have a compression strap on there I can't put the tripod in the side because it will just flop out. And that's the issue that I have with my Vango Hex day pack, which is also a 20 litre I think, and that doesn't have these kind of side pockets with the compression straps. It's got the side pockets but the tripod just falls out of it, so I have to stick it in a pouch on the back, which probably isn't very relevant to any of you because most of you don't have YouTube channels, but it's very relevant to me, so I really like that feature. Another feature that I really like, and I absolutely love it on my low alpine as well, just like my low alpine, it's got this zip pocket in the front which is just the perfect size for an ordnance survey map, and a compass to go with it, so that can fit nicely inside here like so. I've dropped my compass and that can fit nicely in there as well. It all zips up nice and secure, and you can easily get to that if you're in a bit of a jam. As well as the stretchy mesh bottle holders on the sides and the map holder pocket on the front, it's also got this little zip pocket right on the top. That's perfect for snacks. I've got bug spray in there, I've got a snack, even though I'm only out for an hour and a half, but like I say, I packed as if it was a day hike. And this is what I mean by features that you wouldn't expect on such a cheap backpack. Look at that, it's a little hook for your keys, so it keeps them nice and easy to find when you get back to the car with your tired legs after a day of hiking. You can know that your keys are safe in there, you haven't lost them somewhere out in the mountains. You'll go back, retrace your steps to try and find them again. So another feature that you maybe wouldn't expect such a cheap backpack to have is that the entire back is mesh, and that's to try and make it more breathable. It's got these cushioned slots down the side, and the straps themselves are very thick. It's a very kind of thick cushion in there, so these are comfortable even when fully laden, and I've been taking this backpack out fully laden on all of my hikes, just to kind of test it, even though none of them have been very long. But it's it's done really well in terms of the straps. It doesn't feel like it's cutting into my shoulders or anything like that, so they're actually really good. What's not so good is the back mesh, because it does get a little bit sweaty, and it's quite cool tonight actually. There's a little bit of a breeze coming, which is why I came down from the summit where I was going to do this video review. I came down into the shelter of these rocks just because I've still got the lovely views behind me, but you'll actually be able to hear me talk and I'm not going to be getting blown about all over the place. And the tripod's going to stand up while I'm down here. But yeah, the mesh, not fully breathable, I wouldn't say. It does get your back a little bit sweaty, especially the small of my back right down at the bottom. That's where all the sweat seems to end up on this backpack. The top bit's all right, but yeah, down the bottom it does get a little bit sweaty when I'm out walking, especially in hotter temperatures. It's not really tonight, but you know, when I was out during the day with this, it was a little bit warmer. Yeah, definitely could use a little bit of work on the back. And like I say, there's a great amount of space in the backpack, so this one is fully laden today. This is another feature I like. Look at these zips. Look, really tough, and you can grab it by this and pull it. Not easy to do one-handed, but pull it all the way down and it's just easier to access. And then look at this on the inside. You've got the safety demonstrations, which is the same as I've got on my low alpine, and you just wouldn't expect it from such a budget backpack, or I wouldn't, at least anyway. Not something I'd ever think of to be put inside a cheap budget backpack from Crivit that I bought from Lidl for £10. There's plenty of space inside this backpack, so like I say, I've packed for a full day hike, even though I'm only out for an hour or so in the evening. But I've got another layer in there, I've got waterproofs in there, I've got sun cream in there. It all fits in perfectly fine. I think there's a couple of other bits in there somewhere as well. There's a sit mat here somewhere. There it is. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this review sitting down or standing up, but there's nowhere really to sit around here anyway, so I thought I'd go for the standing up option. But yeah, it all fits in nicely. There's plenty of space, and this is maybe the most exciting feature, the most unbelievable feature to me for such a cheap backpack, is that if I take the sit mat out, get all this out of the way, this, and you might not be able to see it very well, so I might have to switch to a different camera angle, but this here, that's a drinks bladder holder, and then on the top here you've got the little H2O opening that goes down into it. So if you do use a drinks bladder, I don't really, but if you do use a drinks bladder, you can put it up through this hole here, or the tube at least, through this hole here, and put it through this strap, or this loop on the strap, and just drink out of it as you're walking along. I think that's a brilliant feature for a £10 backpack to have. Not something I'd expect from something so cheap. But it can't all be positive, can it? Because it is such a cheap backpack. It's got to have some downsides other than the sweaty back, and it does, really. It's not the most comfortable backpack when it's on. As much as the straps are nice and comfortable, the waist strap is not. It's just this fabric the entire way round. It's very light, very flimsy. It doesn't feel like it's very sturdy at all, and because it's just this the whole way round, it does almost feel like it's cutting into you a little bit, especially when I'm kind of like clambering and climbing up on the tour. I can feel it kind of cutting into my hips sometimes, depending on which way I'm moving, how I'm kind of climbing, that sort of thing. So it's not the best for that. I think the strap could be a little bit better. That's where the cheapness certainly does shine through. And the other thing is these little loops on the strap. This one seems to be fine. This one is not so fine. That's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to be attached. That happened within 2 minutes of me putting this backpack on for the first time. I think I was just walking off of my driveway when that went. I kind of reached around, I went, oh, there's a loop there, oh, it's gone. So I touched it. I wasn't being rough with it, I wasn't manhandling it, I touched it, and it came off at one end. So yeah, I would say maybe don't put anything valuable on these hooks. One other good thing if you're walking in the dark is that this little bit here and the Crivit logo on the front and this kind of chevron down the bottom, they're all reflective, so if car headlights hit them, then they're going to glow. So not very stealthy if you're trying to be stealthy, if you're sneaking around at night, but yeah, they're good for safety. You'll be able to be seen if you're walking on the roads with this backpack late at night, even though it's dark, even though it's black, they're still going to be able to see you coming. One thing I did forget to mention about the backpack is that it doesn't come with a rain cover. If it was going to deluge down, you'd want to buy a separate rain cover for this little backpack, because like I say, it doesn't come with one. Another thing that I didn't mention that it does come with is a little whistle. that doesn't work. So don't rely on that in an emergency. So there we go, my thoughts on the 2025 Crivit backpack from Lidl. The 20 litre version I've got. It comes in a 25 litre version as well, I believe. But yeah, my thoughts on it. Should you buy it? Well, it's difficult to justify buying it with the issues that I've had in just about a month of ownership. Well, less than that, about 3 weeks of ownership, and only taking it out 5 times. A few things have gone wrong already. This strap, wherever it is, that coming loose literally the first time I put it on. Obviously the whistle not working. The waist strap that you can see is really thin, kind of cutting into me as I climb sometimes. It's fine when I'm walking, it doesn't hurt me at all when I'm walking, but when I'm scrambling about up on the tours up there, it does cut into me a bit. And I think if you had it kind of cinched too tight around you, then it probably would cut into you a bit. But you can also argue that if you don't have it tight enough, then it's not really doing anything. And I certainly don't feel it taking any weight kind of onto my hips, off of my shoulders. But then it is just a day pack, so do you really need a waist strap for a day pack? Probably not, because you've probably not got enough weight in there to need to take it off the hips. I don't know. I don't think the waist strap is fit for purpose really, but it's not terrible. It's not the worst thing in the world. If you're looking at buying this backpack because it's cheap and you only go out hiking maybe a couple of times a year, maybe you go on one hiking holiday a year to the Lake District or something like that, you're going to go on a couple of day hikes and then it's going to get chucked in the cupboard under the stairs and probably not used again for another year, this backpack's perfectly fine for that. But I think if you're going to be using it regularly, you're going to be going out a lot, walking a lot, spending a lot of time outdoors, spending a lot of time hiking, and you want a good reliable day pack that's going to do you well for adventure after an adventure, this backpack's probably not it. It's a little bit too cheap, a little bit too flimsy, and you probably want to buy something from a more reputable and a more well-known brand, which will be a little bit more expensive, but if you shop around, there's still cheap ways to get those. My Low Alpine that I was saying about earlier, it's a 24 litre day pack. Low Alpine's a really well-known brand. I think brand new, that backpack is about £85, but I bought it second hand because it was a year-old or 2-year-old colour scheme. I bought it second hand on eBay and it cost me 24 quid plus postage and packaging. I think it was like 28, 29 pounds altogether. So a really good deal, and that backpack's done me brilliantly for the last year. So yeah, I think if you're going to be using it regularly and you're on a budget, buy a big name second hand. But if you're just going to be going out every now and then, just buy cheap, something like this. So that will just about do it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, if you have found it useful in any way, shape or form, please do hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more, and drop a comment down below. Do you have this backpack, or do you have an older version of this backpack that you maybe spent a year using and you can give kind of long-term feedback? Do you have a different cheap backpack in mind that you think is better than this one? Let me know down below and maybe I'll review that next. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for another adventure. Cheers.